Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to part 2 of a first look at a Napoleonic War modification for Field of Glory 2, a sort of Roman Ancients era tactical game. This modification brings the game into the 1800s and allows you to fight the battles of Napoleon, or a limited number of the battles of Napoleon as has been developed. The mod is still under development, so it's not completed yet, but it did look interesting, so I wanted to show it to you guys. We're about 7 turns into this battle. Things are going well so far. It's the Battle of Quatre, the preliminary to the Battle of Waterloo. We're fighting as the French, and with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and jump back into the recording, and I'll catch you guys at the end. Can the artillery shoot at anyone? They can. Okay, good. So that's Wellington. We're going to shoot everything we can at Wellington's unit. Continue to try and inflict some casualties there. Guys, the only unit they can hit with their guns are these skirmishers. Meanwhile, we're going to keep hitting Wellington here with some of our artillery. 69 casualties inflicted. They're losing heavily just at the hands of our guns. Wellington's CNC unit has lost 260 men without firing a shot thus far. Meanwhile, our cavalry is kind of muddled in some of these engagements. It's not in the best shape. So we just gotta hope that additional reinforcements don't arrive. I should have done something with my cavalry over there on the flank. Alright, so fighting's occurring. Additional enemy troops appear to be arriving. You can see the 20 some odd percent drop to 16. The infantry charging our cavalry. Cavalry charging our cavalry. Their reserves are being thrown into the battle and maybe starting to turn the tide, which would be somewhat historical. The French gained ground early in the battle. There was some heavy back and forth fighting, and at the end of the day, Allied reinforcements allowed them to counterattack and retake all the objectives that they had lost. Our troops are rallying in any event. We've got to hope that theirs don't continue to. Meanwhile, these guys are fragmented, yet they still continue to hang in there. Oh, there they go. They broke. And there are infantry auto breaks. Oh, come on. Their cavalry gets, of course, the benefits of charging infantry, but their infantry gets the benefit of charging cavalry, but our infantry charging cavalry does jack diddly. Of course. These skirmishers should break. There they go. Dispersed. Nice. They're destroyed. Is this the King's German Legion? It is. Of shooting range. Alright. Go and hit Wellington's troops with artillery. "60 casualties. It wasn't war, it was murder. And I'm okay with it." Enfilade fire, nice. So he is down over 400 men now. Alright, so falling back. We're going to use this wood Strategic wood to our advantage. Alright, so I don't know if I can shoot with anybody else. Alright, these guys can shoot. Point blank range against enemy cavalry. Sights blocked. Dutch Fusiliers that are already routed. A volley at Wellington's boys. 16 more casualties. And I broke. So I probably should have turned my troops. Nice. Firing into their flanks is always good. Alright, so our troops are kind of too crammed in here to do much at the moment. But that'll end turn 8. So far, things 15% of their armies destroyed. Got a bunch of units routing. Presumably they have some reinforcements on the way, but I'm hoping beyond hope, if we can deal Wellington a blow, the morale impact for their troops will turn the tide, because again, they're going to outnumber us pretty shortly here. 7% of our army, I think, is destroyed here. 22% of theirs. That's how I'm reading it anyway. Is this a 15% lead? Yeah, I've been doing a fair bit of Cold Steel Selkos, fair bit of melee combat to this point. Just more and more allied troops are pouring in here. Rather give them the taste of cold lead rather than steel, but you know. And there goes one of our cavalry units dispersed. Good. Oh, they broke. Nice. Their cavalry there is losing worse than it's getting there. Alright, so Wellington, I think, has gotten himself a little bit... He's almost all alone. He's got troops on his right flank, but his left is completely in the air. So we're just going to continue to hit him with artillery. You can see there his line has lost coherence. It's fragmented. And, I don't know if artillery can rout anyone in this game just by being artillery. But he has lost over 600 men. Auto breaks and routes. We're going to go ahead and pursue and charge him with cavalry. A rear attack drives him back further. Alright, these guys look like they're in squares, so I'm assuming they're going to be suckers for volleys. Does appear to be the case. There would have been probably better targets for artillery. Alright. I always prefer shooting. If I can. Melee, or at least that's sort of what I like to think. They're in melee combat. Alright. Okay, so I think that does it on the left, on the right. Jeez. Revealed. All right. End turn 9. 28% of the British force destroyed. So far things are going much better than they usually do for me at this stage of a Field of Glory battle. Usually by this point in time, we're about 40 minutes into the fight. Usually by this stage in time, I am absolutely 115 from a square? What? A quarter of the men inflicted those casualties? I don't think so, sir. I don't think so. But usually by this stage in the game, my army is the one running from the field, and it's all but a certain defeat. So far, we're at least holding our own. Sure, now that I've said that, you know, disaster will strike. Hey there, Newhauser. We're giving, for those of you joining us now, we're giving the Napoleonic mod for Field of Glory 2 a first look. Alright, so these fights are going in our favor for sure. These melees there, still ongoing. Auto brakes, and they rout. Chase 'em. Brunswick Hussars. Alright. Already fought in melee, so that makes sense. This artillery? Can we charge the artillery? Damn. Didn't do very much damage. They're fragmented, which means they can't charge. Alright, square boys. Let's blow you the hell up. Everything should be enfilade. Enfilade. Oh, alright, so those troops in melee and square really haven't lost that many men yet. Oh, well, that's because they're not in melee. We've got too many troops like crammed in here on the left. I can't actually aim with any of them. Alright, so I think that about does it for them there. Alright, so they're up to 30% casualties by the looks of it. We're at 7, I think. Some of their troops dispersing and routing from the field for good. It's important for us, as presumably to get more reinforcements. How are this? How is the square doing that kind of damage? Just no. No. I disagree, sir. That should not be happening. I feel like the game needs to modify. Maybe it's just a visual thing, right? The game is providing a visual that they're in a square when they're really not. And be counterattacking on both flanks somewhat successfully. My troops are very heavily concentrated in the center. That's a challenge. Those melees went not terribly. Elite guard. Do they have a CNC in them? No. You run away. You shoot at this guy. He's like 2 feet away from you. 104 casualties. Very good, sir. Alright, so 200 inflicted there. Dutch Cav. These guys are fragmented. Can't do anything. Alright, there we go. Just broke that unit. They're routing. Man, their aim sucks. Get better aim, guys. Alright, those are skirmishers. They're evading. Gets us in behind him, though. Again, charging through their lines, disrupting them. Gotta try and blow these guys apart. They're clogging up the whole center of my line. If I can destroy them, then I think things open up a little bit as far as my ability to dictate things to the enemy. Plus, I think the constant enfilade's gotta destroy their morale. They're almost at 50% casualties now. Within that individual unit here as we close in at the end of 10 turn. One of their units rallied. More are routing. My cavalry broke and dispersed. God, I just don't understand that. The attacks on the right are more about buying time, although our casualties have doubled in the last few turns. That's not good. They're definitely hitting our right flank pretty hard. Alright, we're up to 14% casualties. Number of units routing. Nice. Alright, let's move these guys over a little bit. Can't target. Alright, can we finally break these guys? What are they at? 50%? Let's actually target these guys. They're routing Nassau Commander-in-Chief. Alright, target him. They have fragmented. That's got to be good. Could make them better targets, I would think. Flank charge. Yeah, 70 to 6, and they broke. Cavalry charged them, 18 more casualties, and they and their general was killed. All right, that was big. I think anyway. Move these troops over this way. French Lancer. Right, so our right flank, our extreme right, is where the challenge is right now. We do have some issues on the left with the enemy cavalry showing up. We just barely toyed with them over 40% casualties. I think if we get them over 40 and there's a 25% margin, we win, I think. You can see some of those guys are still, they're inflicting grievous casualties on us. 142 in that volley. 71 in that volley. Did that just say 200 or was it 24? Ooh, that might have been the worst turn yet for us in terms of casualties. All right, so they just broke those guys. And I don't know if I can turn the tide of what just happened. That was nuts. Alright, so we just broke those guys. Alright, so I think what we have to do is try and roll flank up a bit. Point blank range fire into their flank. These guys are routing. So their army's flank is not in very good shape. Of course, our cavalry is not doing very good there. Alright, so we just fragmented those skirmishers. All back. Can't they charge? Alright, so they're up to 44. I don't know if it's percent or whatever. So we're focusing on that flank. Kind of already moved. Alright, so turn, is that 11, 12, 13? Concludes. The enemy continues to rout. Some of them are rallying. We're at 44% casualties. I think if we get to 60 at all, we win. Now that probably would take a bit more than what we're going to be able to do here. Thank you very much for the subscription, the re-up, and the 6 months of support there, Stoic. I have my notifications turned off, but I did just see the thing come through here on Stream Elements, so thank you very much. The enemy has lost heart. You are victorious. There you go. 25% margin at the end of the battle. The enemy is defeated. Do you wish to accept a victory gracefully and let the enemy withdraw without further bloodshed? Or do we want to fight it out? I guess I will accept victory. You can see here the battle is over. We have won victory. The Allies are retreating in disorder. They've got 2 good line infantry left, but the King's German Legion is probably about to be broken here in this vice on the right flank. They've got the 2 Brunswick lines here that are in good shape that can sort of act as the rear guard. Their skirmishers are mostly chewed up. They might have 1 light so they got a few light infantry units, and they probably got a brigade or a division worth here on the other flank. So I'd say they've got about a division and a half left of troops left to sort of guard the retreat. But I think we win decisively enough so that we don't have to worry about Waterloo occurring, because the enemy won't be able to stand there after the losses that they just suffered. If we take a look at the casualties, it's well, they lost historically at the Battle of Quatre. The British, or the Anglo-Allied, lost 4,800. The French lost about 4,000. Our French force lost about 5,000 men. 1,400 routed. We'll say we'll get them back. And then 2,700 wounded and 895 killed. For a grand total of about 5,000. Sorry, can't do math. So a little bit heavier than real life. However, the Allies lost substantially heavier. Versus the 4,800 that they had in real life, the Allies lost about 9,700, so they lost about double what they did historically. And I think the likelihood of them getting those routed soldiers back is pretty minimal. So if you say, hey, Wellington, you just lost 10,000 men in your army before the Battle of Waterloo even took place, I think we take that as a big old victory here. So I will take that. We have 2,800 total lost. Wait, that's confusing because those numbers are different. Did we get our routed soldiers back? I guess when you win, you don't count the routed soldiers? Well, I guess you rally them then, so that does make sense. So it says 2,800, 375 casualties. It's about 1,200 less than historical. The Allies lost about double historical, just shy of 10,000 men, or 50% of their force. Their captured or deserted numbers stay in check, and there you go. Victory for us, Field of Glory, Napoleonic mod, currently being developed. The modder, at least according to the Slitherine page, is James Manhattan. You can find the mod over on either Slitherine or Matrix's forums. I'll throw a link into the description. And there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to say thank you again to Stoic Frog Gaming for the subscription there. And I think we'll go ahead and sign off today for the first stream that I've done in a little while. It's been a little while. I've kind of, my wife and I had our 5th anniversary. We traveled to Charleston, so that was a lot of fun. Got to go on the USS Yorktown, which is an Essex-class carrier, which is available at Patriots Point. They've got a phenomenal submarine memorial for all the nuclear submarines there. They actually built a replica size, like the exact size of a Benjamin Franklin nuclear ballistic missile submarine, and they put it in the ground with a bunch of benches around it as this sort of memorial to Cold War submarines. And it's really cool because it's sort of half above water, quote unquote, half below. It's obviously in the dirt, but they've got this structure which looks like this Benjamin Franklin submarine on the surface, and then they've got sort of bulges or areas that if the boat had been sailing through the water, if you'd seen, you know, some of those footages of submarines traveling on the surface, you know, they've got that massive bow wave or that bulge where the front of the sub is just underneath the water. They have that replicated in sort of the grass. So it's a pretty cool thing. I may post some pictures in a later video, but I got to do that. Again, went on the Yorktown. They also have a destroyer there that you can visit, and for the moment, at least when I was there, they have a Guppy class, a Guppy 3 upgrade, so a World War II boat that saw the post-war upgrades currently available. Although my understanding is it's going to be towed out to sea and sunk as an artificial reef in Florida because the boat is in really poor shape. Unfortunately, I didn't know that at the time, so I didn't go aboard it. I believe it's the Clamoring. But anyway, that's enough of me rambling about my voyages. Essentially, we had our anniversary, went on vacation, and I've just kind of been taking a little bit of a breather from YouTube. It's been a little while since my last video posted, but look for me to get back in the swing of things now. Hope you guys enjoyed Field of Glory 2 with the Napoleonic mod. Thank you for coming out once again, and until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.